Hi, friends, it's Mrs. Yost, and I am so excited to read a last week of third grade book with you today. Today, I'm reading How I Spent My Summer Vacation by Mark Teague. Mark Teague might be best known for his series of books, How Do Dinosaurs Say Goodnight? Also, he is the author and illustrator of the Dear Mr. LaRue books. Maybe you've read some of those. It's a dog who's writing letters home. This book won the Parents' Choice Award, friends, and that's for its excellent illustrations. What's amazing is Mark studied history in college and didn't get a degree in art, and yet he is a well-known picture book illustrator and author. As I read, pay attention to the illustrations and how they are helping tell the story. Friends, how do you usually spend your summer vacation? Some kids usually go to summer camp. Others might go to grandma's house, and still others might just stay home and get to do fun things like wear their pajamas all day. How we spend our summer may be different this year. I know mine will be a little bit different, but I guarantee it won't be anything like the way Wallace Bluff spends his summer in this book. What are some ways that the author shows the reader what's happening to the main character, Wallace Bluff? How I Spent My Summer Vacation, written and illustrated by Mark Teague. For Rebecca and Jerry and Mark. How I Spent My Summer Vacation by Wallace Bluff. When summer began, I headed out west. My parents had told me I needed a rest. Your imagination, they said. It's getting too wild. It will do you some good to relax for a while. What do you think it means that Wallace Bluff's imagination is too wild and that it needs a rest? Has anyone ever told you you have a vivid or big imagination? Do you think that might be what this means? Let's read on and find out. So they put me aboard a westbound train? Do people even do that anymore? Is this teacher even paying attention? To visit Aunt Fern in her house on the plains. Friends, are the words in the pictures telling the same story or matching exactly right now? I'm not sure that they are. Look, he's walking around in the wild, wild west. And there aren't streets and roads and suburbs and things that I would expect to see. We live in the West. There's a train track and one house all by itself. And some cowboys. The words don't say anything about that. I'm noticing that you really have to pay attention. The words are showing an old Western, or the pictures are showing an old Western, and the words are just telling a story about a summer vacation. Keep paying attention to that. But I was captured by cowboys, a wild-looking crowd. Their manners were rough and their voices were loud. I'm trying to get to my aunt's house, I said, but they carried me off to their cow camp instead. The cattle boss growled as he told me to sit. We need a new cowboy. Our old cowboy quit. We sure could use your help, so what do you say? I thought for a minute, and I told him, okay. Then I wrote to Aunt Fern so she'd know where I'd gone. I said not to worry, and I wouldn't be long. I wonder what Wallace wrote to his aunt. Let's see. Dear Aunt, captured by cowboys. Don't worry. See you soon. Love, Wallace. Well, I'm thinking that if I got a postcard like that from one of my nephews, I would be worried. I'd be calling the police. I'd be calling everyone. I'd be out looking. Do you think that this is very realistic, friends? Adults would go crazy if something like that were sent. And yet, here in this story, it seems like it's the way that it went. Nobody worried once he sent a postcard. That night I was given a new set of clothes. Soon I look like a wrangler from my head to my toes. But there's more to a cowboy than boots and a hat, I found out the next day and the day after that. Each day I discovered some new cowboy tricks, from roping and riding to making a fire with sticks. Wait a second. Let's look at those pictures again. Do they look like something that a kid would do at summer camp? That bull is bigger than the boy. And that horse doesn't look very tame. And finally, what's behind the boy at the campfire? Yep, that's a bear. I think you've probably been noticing, just like I have, that the pictures and the words are telling a few different things. And some of the things in the pictures seem very unrealistic. Is that what it's like to have a wild imagination? Slowly, the word spread all over the land. That Wrangler Kid Bluff is a first-rate cowhand. The day finally came when the roundup was through. Aunt Fern called, "Come on over. Bring your cowboys with you." She was cooking a barbecue that very same day, so we cleaned up a little and we headed her way. That seems like an awfully big coincidence that Aunt Fern would be making a barbecue and is willing to have all of the cowboys over, don't you think? The food was delicious. There was plenty to eat, and the band that was playing just couldn't be beat. But suddenly I noticed a terrible sight. The cattle were stirring and stamping with fright. It's a scene I'll remember till my very last day. "They're gonna stampede," I heard somebody say. Just then they came charging. They charged right at me. I looked for a hiding place, a rock or a tree. What I found was a tablecloth spread out on the ground, so I turned like a matador and spun it around. It was a new kind of cowboying, a fantastic display. The cattle were frightened and stampeded away. Friends, I do think that the picture and the words help us know what a matador is, but have you ever heard of a matador before? Yeah, it's a Spanish bullfighter. And I don't think it's something that Wallace Bluff would have learned from the cowboys, because they're in the American West. Does that seem very realistic to you? Then the cowboys all cheered, "Bluff's a true buckaroo!" They shook my hand and slapped my back, and Aunt Fern hugged me too. And that's how I spent my summer vacation. To see, I was taking a bow. I can hardly wait for show and tell. Look carefully at this one, friends. Oh my. Okay, so after reading, what do you think it means that Wallace Bluff's imagination was wild and needed a rest? Did it get rest on this summer vacation? Do you really think any of this could have happened? This author writes a lot of funny books, just like this one's funny. One writing trick he uses is exaggeration. Think of some of the things the boy said or did that seem impossible for a kid. I'm thinking back to that bucking bronco, or maybe roping that giant bull. So, you know what? Your summer might be different than what you're expecting or what usually happens. But just like Wallace Bluff could come up with some great ideas of things that make summer great, there are things I know you're looking forward to and are going to still be able to enjoy this summer. All right, take care, and I can't wait to see you in 4th grade.